Grab your popcorn. It's another blowout here as we have Rush Hour versus Blazing Magi. I think my team is going to get fried in this one. Rush Hour looking like a absolute beast of a contender again this season. Blazing Magi, on the other hand, have been uh, okay. We beat a team that we definitely should have beat. However, we got steamrolled by Krusty Crushers. So we're going to see here how we do against Rush Hour. The very good squad we're up against. We're going to be on a Koth to start this one. I think it's really going to come down to what tank I end up with, as it does usually, but at the same time, even if we get a good tank, I don't know how we're going to fare against this squad. This squad looks lethal. Actually terrifying to deal with. I can't recall if Rush Hour have dropped a map yet. Let me go look at their... I don't think they have. Of course, only 1 week of play. Yeah, Rush Hour did win both their games 3-0 last week. They won against Microfish 3-0 and No Defunks 3-0. So, very good showings both times from this roster. We'll have to see if they continue that dominance against my squad here today. Blazing Magi, we did get 3-0'd, but then we turned it around and 3-0'd not Microfish. Moldy Milkers. Sorry, they both start with M's. I will get a Mauga. Okay. They're going to get a Sigma on the other side, so that's probably one of the best case scenarios. I mean, like, a shield I would like better, but possible. It's possible here. So Microfish, or not Microfish, Rush Hour, my word, the team names are all flooding into my brain. Okay, Rush Hour and Blazing Magi are going to start here on Lijiang. We'll see how this goes. Can my red squad get the job done here? I'm hoping. I'm hoping. I'm living on a prayer. We got Mauga. Mauma. He is going to get a pretty big slam going. Comes the rest of Blazing Magi. Oh my word, that went so poorly. Okay, this is looking like a great start here so far for Rush Hour, as I kind of anticipated this to be one-sided, even with that Sigma man. Cassidy able to put in some work here, as he was hired to do, but he's 1 HP and pushing back in. I don't know about this push, buddy. May gonna find the headshot him. And I don't think, yeah, my team isn't gonna re-engage this quick enough, so we're gonna have to back out and wait for Cass. Great start coming out from Rush Hour. Blazing Magi get almost instantly deflected. Have to see if Malga can get anything started here for us. He is going in from a different angle, on a different wavelength from the rest of Blazing Magi. We'll see if that works out for them. Lucio and Zen getting very low. They're actually able to take out both with Ash, so great push coming in from Blazing Magi. Can they clean this up, though? There is still 3 alive on cart, and they have that Rhine to worry about. However, May's going to fall. Only your Malga down here, and all they have left is Sig, and Sig is borderline useless. So, working out well so far for Blazing Magi here. See if they can run this on this superior Rush Hour squad. If they get Sigma every map, though, I'm going to be feeling pretty good about my odds in this one. Alright, here comes Sig. Gonna high noon to push them back. Wow, what just happened with the momentum? He, like, launched himself into the sky. Did you see that? Okay. So that will just back them off. It is the ultimate zoning ult coming out of Cass. Sigma gonna come up the top, but he's gonna get focused down here. Maybe shredded out. However, Cassidy gonna fall. Lucio gonna be traded. Zen and Lucio down for the side of Rush Hour. And Blazing Magi actually are doing a pretty good job of cleaning this one up. Can we just secure team fight win here is the real question. It looks like we will, but like Sigma is just staggering himself out. Obviously, I don't know why I thought we would lose that. Brain fart. Obviously we're winning that. We're up like 3 and there's only a Sigma left. Okay. Gonna see a couple more pushes coming in for Rush Hour, but if they continue on the Sigma, this could spell great things for my squad. Sigma probably the worst option they can get as a secondary tank. May Ultimate is pretty massive combined with this Shatter. That's 3 members of Blazing Magi frozen, and oh my word. Ryan gonna clean that up. Great push coming in from Rush Hour. Are Blazing Magi going to be able to win one more fight? That is the question we have in store. So if Blazing Magi can come in and win a fight, might have a chance here. But like I said, Rush Hour, I kind of expect this team to 3-0 me. Just hoping for a good performance here. Mauga not going exactly the way you want him to. Kiri ult coming through, but Ashe is already dead. Zen going to be traded, but huge ult coming out here from Sigma. Going to actually bring that Mauga down to half HP. And the pin to finish him off. Looking great so far here. They're going to have some support ultimates to work with. So Rush Hour going to continue this dominance, it seems, as they're going to probably go up 1-0 in this one. They just look so strong. Such a hard team to contend with. Zen Lucio has been frying squads. Cage does come out. It's going to grab both tanks as well as the Mei. However, the Beat and the Transcendence are here. Not going to be too much support for Blazing Magi. They're going to lose this one pretty convincingly. And that is going to be that. So 80% put on the board. Not bad from Blazing Magi. They just weren't able to get it over the hump there, as they did flounder in one of those last attacks with that massive shatter and the massive Mei ult coming through here for Rush Hour. Rush Hour, once again, this is a squad. Oh my word, we have Sigma now. Okay, Rush Hour's looking like a squad that is probably going to dominate this season of Overbots. They have, when I first saw the roster, I wasn't, like, at first I wasn't terrified because I didn't think Lucio was that good of a bot. But Lucio with Rhine and Zen and Mei has been atrocity. So Lucio and Mei are actually coming off of a championship with Torb and Bastion. They were one of the best teams in Overbots Season 2. Zen in his own right, a champion from Season 1. And Rhine is just an absolute Giga Chad. Has proven that time and time again. He is a two-time All-Star. However, he hasn't made it to the championship game yet. But maybe with this squad around him that has had previous success, could bring him there. Mei popping off. Oh my word, Mei getting 3 there. Fortunately for Blazing Magi, they do roll out on the Sig, and if you're mirroring this squad with Sigma, you're gonna lose. The rest of their squad is almost untouchable. Rush Hour squad is very good here. Let's see if we can get another touch going through. Here comes Blazing Magi. Zen going to be the first fall, but Kiri is getting very low. She's going to go down. Cassidy also very low. Sigma able to find one on the outside, but it is now a Sigma versus Sigma and a Mei on point. So that is actually going to be it. Blazing Magi able to take this one. Does Mei fall here? She will wall off. Blazing Magi building up some percentage on this point. Mei's going to get back in here. She's probably going to die, so this is not a great push from Mei. That's going to result in a big stagger coming out here for Rush Hour. Not ideal at all. That's going to give Blazing Magi quite a bit of percentage. Probably just almost going to catch up here. Mei's going to come back in, but already 22% on the board. Here comes. I'm going to go for this turret immediately, so good start. However, Sigma going to fall. Zen going to go down, and Ryan going to fall next. Blazing Magi doing a good job cleaning up these kills. Kiri going to find the Lucio. Ashe going to find the Mei. This is what we need to see more from my roster if they want to get the job done against these powerful teams. Start to see what I was cooking up in my back pocket with my squad here. So I believe I have 4 very solid team members. It's all about that. It's all about rolling into a lucky tank, though, for my squad. Sigma is at least a decent tank because he has a shield. Other than that, he's kind of useless. A big eat coming in from Sig, though. Correct myself, Sigma, you legend. They are going to solo ult my Torb. Absolutely rude. My Sigma going to win the Sigma duel, though. But, man, they have Ryan still. So this is going to be a fight win for Rush Hour eventually. Sigma doing a good job, though, of just stalling out, keeping control of this point. So we will build up to about 90%, probably one fight territory. So all my squad needs to do here is come in and win one more fight, and we will be able to send this to the third point. The question is, can Cassidy and Torb hold this one together for my squad? Will Bob come out? Or will Bob be put in a terrible spot where he'll die? This is the question. Can Blazing Magi put together one solid fight? They have a ton of ults to work with. They can get right back into this map. Kiri going to go in a little bit too deep. Unfortunately here for Blazing Magi, that's probably going to spell this fight. And they don't use any of their ults, so despite having a whole assortment of ults to use, Blazing Magi just failing to use them. Torp turret going to eventually fall here. Blazing Magi got to regroup. They will have one more fight. However, the Lucio beat and the Zen ultimate are here. All of Blazing Magi's ults are online, but they just haven't quite used them yet. Sigma already in there. Not too sure about this. He is pretty deep. Can we see some ultimates coming through here? We're not going to... I'm so frustrated. Why is my team not ulting? I'm so frustrated. Not going to lie, guys. We had so many ults to work with, and we didn't press Q. We had 2 fights in a row. We didn't press Q, and that's going to result with us losing this point and the map. Unfortunately, my squad just doesn't press Q. We had a very good chance at winning that, actually. 2 fights back-to-back where we just don't press Q. Immediately lose because of it. Of course, neither team did really press Q in those last 2 fights, but it would have been such a better decision there. If we had just pressed our Q buttons, I could have easily seen us winning that. Unfortunately, we are now down 0-1, and we will not be seeing the last point on Li Sheng. So, put up an okay fight, but just not enough ultimates used in that last fight. So we're going to go to Volskaya Deathmatch. Wondering if my squad can maybe make something out of this deathmatch map. I have to see. Put up a pretty solid fight on Li Sheng. Both points made very close. Unfortunately, we weren't able to win either of them, but such is the way of overbots. Blazing Magi going into map 2 here. With a little bit of a chip on our shoulders as we... I feel like we really should have won at least one of those points. If not, both could have gone our way. If we had just used our ultimates a little bit more liberally there. Oh well, is what it is. Alright, here we go, deathmatch. Don't know. You're gonna have the Doomfist, so very odd pick coming out here for Blazing Magi with that tank. Seems like a usual mix-up for us. We never get really a great tank, and they're gonna have Mauga, so this is already looking like a 3-0. That Mauga versus Doom. Yeah. Looking like a 2-0 lead here for the side of Rush Hour. I'm just not liking the tank pick at all. That was awful. My tank picks have been atrocious this season from that bot. Able to take out one, but man, the team we're up against is just like, what do you even do against this? Mauga Rhine shenanigans. Okay. Doom's gonna drop down. He's gonna go for this health back, but it's already 11-2. Lazy Magi just not showing much of anything here. So, as we watch Rush Hour just completely run over my squad, this Doom is by far the worst tank we can pick. I'm just going to chillax. So there's really no reason to commentate this slaughter. I swear the Zen just wasn't taking damage right there. Did anyone else see that bot, like, turret, like, absolutely shredding him, and he just, like, took no damage? He was full HP the entire time, like, what? Comes the Mei. She is gonna fall, though. If Blazing Magi can get back into this, it's gonna be on some true heroics. And some things like that. Ryan just pinning off the map. Pretty much the only way this goes well for us. But man, it's just so dominant. Doomfist was literally like the worst case scenario. And it will always be like that. Only 4 kills remain here for Rush Hour. It has been an absolute snooze fest here on Volskaya coming out of Blazing Magi, as they did just lock the Doom. Never swap off of it. Quite literally the worst tank pick for a roster that looks like Blazing Magi, and that will be it. Rush Hour going to take map 2. We're head to a map 3. This is a very quick 3-0. It's looking like, even though that Volskaya was very close. Or not Volskaya, Lijiang. Volskaya was the opposite of close. Unfortunately for Blazing Magi, they're just going to need a good tank, and they just don't get it here. So, that's that, I guess. Got me tearing my eyeballs out of my head right now. Okay, Colosseo gonna be probably the final map in this series, unless Blazing Magi can put it together and actually choose a somewhat decent tank to contend with this Rush Hour team. Gonna take a lot of courage out of that tank slot to do it for us, but you know, it is what it is. It's looking like we're gonna go down 3-0 in this one once again against the Get Good division team we have to face against this week. However, I think the rest of our season is looking a lot easier in terms of matchups, as we don't have to face these two teams again, period. So we'll see how we do against some of the lower tiered competition in Overbots. Winston, oh my word. Okay, so at least we have a bubble this time around. It was slightly better than Doom for what we're running, but still not the greatest option. Have been kind of getting screwed on my tank options for this season of Overbots when it comes to my random bot. However, on the other side, they get kind of screwed as well. Doom, not exactly the greatest option. He is okay at times, but not exactly an MVP candidate by any means. Okay, here comes Ryan. Rush Hour looking for their first ever championship. This season, they're looking very strong. No matter who is in that last tank slot, they look ready to go. So, here we go. Blazing Magi actually able to trade. So, despite Winston falling, probably the best pick for us to lose there. Torb going to be able to make something happen, and Blazing Magi able to start pushing on Colosseo. So, not a bad start. If we want to get back into the series, it's going to have to start right here and right now. We're probably going to have to win these first 2 fights. Unfortunately, with this Lucio, though, they're going to be re-engaging so quickly with this Rhine. It is going to be hard to push through with the Winston dead, as well as the Cass. 2 of our slower team members trying to make a comeback here. Here comes the run. They're going down this lower room, so they will get a touch here, it seems. Yep. Kiri immediately going to fall. And that is going to be a quick team fight dub for them here. Eventually Cass will fall. Winston getting a little bit stuck here. He's going to probably just feed his life away. And eventually Winston will fall here, so going to start to see the payload moving. And Zen should be back for this next fight. So for Rush Hour, a little bit better scenario on that first win. Going to result in a team regroup. That second fight really impactful in these. We're going to swap to the Rhine, though, so we're going to see the Rhine mirror. This is actually very good for Blazing Magi. This is probably the best possible tank option we could have got. Have to see if Rhine can do good with this roster behind him. Gonna see if he can grab this touch. Unfortunately, Lucio gonna be able to find the Kiri, so some trades happening, but Blazing Magi actually gonna get traded in this. Blazing Magi Rhine doing a pretty good job. And we will keep them from taking any more progress here, so we do barely have the lead. However, Rhine's still alive. He's gonna get stuck on the thing there, and that's not good for Rush Hour. However, of course, 2 respawns are gonna take a while to get back here for Blazing Magi, so Rhine should spawn in time to be able to contest this before. I believe Blazing Magi will be at full strength. We'll have to see though. Actually, Kiri could be back. Kiri will be back. Actually, Ashley and Kiri will be back. Never mind. Okay, so Blazing Magi able to continue pushing this thing, and then we might be back into the series. We can weave our way back into the series. Maybe the Rhine mirror is great. That was a beautiful shatter. However, Zen's going to be the one to fall. No one on Blazing Magi falls from the shatter. And the Blazing Magi Reinhardt actually putting in some work there. Going to take out that Doom. And Blazing Magi able to take this first checkpoint. So here we go. Could get back into the series right here, right now on Coliseo. All it's going to take is a little bit more of an oomph from this Blazing Magi squad. Going to be wrapping up here on Coliseo. Only a few more fight wins needed for Blazing Magi to secure this map. They are going to be at full strength for this one. As Kiri does make her way back. Here comes the Rhine. Rhine's going to pin. He does get the Cassidy, so a big pick coming through for Rush Hour. That is very likely going to be a Rush Hour fight victory there. They did crucially save onto that Zen ult, but Blazing Magi going to have spawn advantage, so we will have another fight here. More than likely before they take... no. They will take away our spawn advantage, because it doesn't look like Ryan is getting up here quick enough. Yeah, Ryan's probably pretty far back there, so we'll see a fight on this corner. Fortunately for Cass, he is out of the way there. He's going to find that Zen, however, he's going to get traded out. And Kiri falling too. Not a great circumstance for Blazing Magi, as Rush Hour are going to continue pushing through them. Ryan going to get pinned. He is going to go down, and that is probably going to be checkpoint for Rush Hour before we see this next fight. A massive fight coming up here. Have to see if Blazing Magi use any of these ults. They have been holding on to them quite a bit lately. A little bit of a concern for my squad. They will get a little bit past this first Bob in an awful spot. Comes the High Noon. I believe this is going to result in a Doom death. Yep. So at the very least, Doom going to go down. Can my squad clean up the rest? That was a lot of ults for 1 kill. Ryan going to fall. Lucio going to fall. Looking like Zen going to fall too. And all that's left here on the point is Mei. She will eventually go down. And Blazing Magi are going to start pushing this thing back. However, excellent push from Rush Hour. Going to lead them in a 1-fight territory to take the lead. And they are going to be able to contest this thing shortly, as they all do get that short spawn. So we'll see how this next fight goes. Torb does have the lava. Zen, however, has the ultimate. Only going to find... well, finding 3 actually with that shatter. However, not much follow-up. Shatter going to find the Doom, but not quite enough, as the Zen ultimate is here to save the day. That is looking like a team fight victory here for Rush Hour. Gonna lead to them more than likely taking the lead. Have to see, though, if the respawn's coming quick enough. Respawns are relatively quick, however, can they get this touch before the lead is taken? We'll have to find out here shortly. Getting very close to that lead. I think they will take the lead because they are going an extra long way. I don't know what they're doing. Blazing Magi going a very weird route, going to lead to Rush Hour taking this lead, so more than likely going to lead to a 3-0 victory here for Rush Hour, as Cassidy gets extremely low. Cassidy able to take out Lucio, but he's going to get traded out, and that is probably more than likely just it. Rush Hour going to continue pushing this thing, so they do win that fight. Actually able to take out Zen at the end there, but too little, too late. We're going to have to see if Blazing Magi want to win this. We're going to have to see a very similar situation to what happened in that Get Good versus Never Back Down matchup. With a lot of misplays. Ashe sets herself on fire. Oh my word, Ashe. Not going to die though. May going to be taken out by Rein. Meteor Strike coming in. Not going to find much of anything. Blazing Magi going to start pushing this point. However, Doom should fall. He will go down eventually. And the regroup should come in from Rush Hour pretty soon here. It's going to take a lot of effort for Blazing Magi to continue pushing this thing if they want to stay in this series and go up 1-2. I don't even think we're going to get the checkpoint before they respawn, and we don't. So, excellent. Wow, the shield was up, but it still manages... Oh, somehow he lived. Trades actually favoring Blazing Magi here. Only a few more picks left on the clock here. However, these respawns are going to come in just in time, except for Lucio. So Lucio's going to be... Well, Lucio can get back quickly. I think they're going to back off, though. Actually, this could be good here. For Blazing Magi. Let's see if they decide to try and regroup. I think they are going to regroup, actually. So, never mind. Not exactly great for Blazing Magi. Never mind. Especially when they are down one. Ashe is going to be back in this fight, though. Cassidy does have the ult. However, Rein is on the flank. The Rein going to counterpin him out before he can get any huge value. However, Lucio absolutely frying, and Zen. Wow. Okay, we will just get shut down by 2 supports. Okay, cool. Torb 1 HP. He's going to go down. Blazing Magi have a couple more opportunities in this one. They do have a bunch of ults to work with. Can we just please press Q? Please press Q. Torb taking a very long time to respawn. 50 seconds on the clock. Can Blazing Magi make this happen to get back into the series? They're going to have to win at least 2 fights. Fortunately, that Bob is not in a great spot. Lucio is going to fall, though. Zen's going to go down next. So, both supports out of the way. An opening here for Blazing Magi. They're able to maybe deal with this May. She is very low. She will go down. Rein going to fall here. Blazing Magi are going to start pushing this thing. However, it's looking like a very tough ask, as there's only 19 seconds on the clock. You're not going to see too many respawns coming in. However, Zen pushing up very aggressively. He's going to go down. So a bit of a throw here by the 2 supports on Rush Hour could lead to possibly a lead flip for Blazing Magi. However, the respawn's so far back, and you got Zen almost getting a free respawn. They will have that Rein fall. However, Ashe getting very low in the back line. She's going to fall to the Zen, and that is just going to be it. So, Rush Hour able to secure the 3-0 here on Coliseo. Blazing Magi made basically every single map except for Volskaya close. So, Li Shang, both points on Li Shang were absurdly close. It was a 99 to 99 on Li Shang. It was a 99 to 80. So, well, 100 to 80. 100 to 99. And then on this, just a few meters away from reclaiming victory there, Blazing Magi keep this one close, but they do eventually fall 3-0. Both of these Get Good squads we faced in the last 2 weeks have been extraordinarily strong teams. We'll have to see if we can make up for that in playoffs. I'm thinking I'm going to make it there this season. I have a good feeling about my squad for the rest of the league. However, these first 2 matches against Get Good were just not our matches.